Guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at it again in my favorite filming spot location because guess what? We have a small size sedan that just might surprise you. It's this vehicle right here. It's a 2023 Nissan Versa. This particular one is an SR trim. But before we get into, like I said, this small size sedan, which is painted in a new color called Gray Sky Pearl, let's talk about what's going on here. Nissan. They're trying to get through their lineup and make some wholesale changes to really bring back that true essence of what Nissan used to be back in the 1990s. Of course, before that, it was Datsun. Now, what's fascinating is you look at many different brands of vehicles out there, not many have a subcompact sedan. You look at Honda, the smallest vehicle they have is an HR-V, that's a subcompact. You look at, say for example, Toyota, CHR, the Corolla is the smallest sedan that they have. So very fascinating that with this particular vehicle, first of all, Nissan decided to just make it a sedan because the Versa used to be available as a hatchback or a sedan, but they are one of the ones to have a sedan period, where everybody else has crossover SUVs. Now, when it comes to filming different cars here on Rady's Rise, we could film things from Porsches and Ferraris, and of course, everything in between. Corollas, Civics, Elantras, Corvettes, lots of different variety. And with this review, we gotta keep an open mind and we gotta keep oranges to oranges comparison when we're looking at what this vehicle brings, because when we get to the price, I think that's the part that's gonna surprise you the most. So what I wanna find out is, if you're looking for a small size sedan, is this the best bang for your buck when you're looking at maybe spending a little bit more and going Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this subcompact, because the other two are compacts. Let's dive into this small subcompact sedan and find out. Right off the bat, you're gonna see some changes for 2023. And it all starts at the front. You're gonna get a whole new front fascia and new grille. Now, the lighting is still the same, and what you're gonna notice is that you do get LED daytime running lamps, LED headlights, but you do have the standard Thomas Edison light bulbs. Normally I would zonk that. I'm not going to, because like I said, it's all about value, price. That's the topic of this review. Now, working your way down, one thing I am gonna zonk is this right here. Why did they even have to add this? I actually would prefer if it was just all body colored, smooth all the way down. Of course, this is the SR trim. Another reason I could zonk it, besides it just being a fake vent that kind of looks silly, is they should have put a fog lamp there, especially on the SR trim, because this is the top trim. But I really think if they would have just taken this part of the body of the front fascia and brought it straight down and just eliminate that, I think it would actually just look nice and clean. Now, as we come across the new grille, the Versa gets the updated Nissan badge, and you'll notice how you have these accents on both sides, these dark chrome accents of the V-Motion grille. That's what they call this style of grille, the V-Motion grille. Our SR badge, like I said, is our top trim, and we do have full functionality all the way down, and I like the way that they went body colored in the center lip area. Now, as we rise up onto that low, small slung hood, it's still the same hood as last year's Versa. Nothing to really write home about, but that's okay. It's clean, it's simple, it's to the point. Now, as we come around the bend, just like we talked about new front fascia, new grille, we're gonna get all new wheels. And on this particular SR trim, we're gonna get the largest wheel, 17-inch machined aluminum, gloss black on all the different accents. It's a 205 on the width, 50 series sidewall. Comparing this to a Toyota Corolla, like I said, you would have to go base on the Toyota Corolla to get close. Won't be the same price, but close to the price of this Versa as fully loaded. And that's, I think, a good comparison. Like, do you go for the little bit larger vehicle even though it has less? Or do you go for the smaller vehicle that has more? And wait until I show you on the interior. So we got 17-inch real aluminum wheels, not hubcaps. Coming down the side on the SR trim, we are gonna get gloss black on the mirror caps, LED on the turn signals, color match on the door handles, same clean sedan design as before. You got that separator in the rear quarter for that pillar area and the roof to kind of give it a little bit of a unique floating roof design at the back. And then as we spin it around the tail, you are gonna get some new touches. So we have our new SR badge. We have, of course, our different style taillights, the Nissan badge, the Versa badge, and then going all the way down, they actually did a pretty good job making it look sporty with this simulated rear diffuser. Actually quite fascinating that they did that. But other than that, like I said, simple, clean. Why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and talk not about horsepower, but about MPGs in this Versa. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. No, there's not an engine cover to clean everything up. This is what a modern engine looks like. I apologize, that's a little dirty. It just got shipped from California or Tennessee to Florida for us to drive. So what are we looking at? You're looking at a 1.6 liter, not an inline 3 like some other subcompact vehicles have. This has an inline 4 naturally aspirated engine, 122 horsepower, 114 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a CVT. 0 to 60, you're probably going to be able to get beaten by somebody who's on a skateboard or possibly somebody who's using a walker. But it's got good MPG. 0 to 60, 9.5 seconds. Top speed, 115 miles an hour. MPGs, 32 in the city, 40 on the highway. So that's the big point about this, is that this isn't about overall performance 0 to 60 or even top speed. Think about it, over 30 miles per gallon in the city in this Versa. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and see it in motion. All right, guys, we are inside this Nissan Versa SR trim. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I've been looking for a vehicle to get me back and forth to work. I'm on the road a lot, so MPGs are very important to me. I've been looking at a Corolla, but you're right. If you want to get a few options, the price gets close to $30,000. How much is this Nissan Versa? This particular car, the way that it's spec'd, is right at $22,000. This is the top trim. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels. You are getting a lot of hard plastic, but the good news is the armrest is soft. You have some bright orange stitching. Some faux carbon fiber is fine. It's better than gloss black. Door pocket is on the tight side. Maybe 2 Pop-Tarts and a bottle of strawberry flavored milk. Now going from the door panel to the dash, hard plastic up top, but the great news is you get soft touch in the center. I like the way they do the AC vents. You got your orange stitching, and on the SR trim, instead of the standard 7-inch infotainment, you're getting an 8-inch infotainment with Sirius XM, full touchscreen capability. You got all your different hookups, very easy to do. I'll throw it in reverse. There's our backup camera with trajectory, and it takes up all 8 inches. We've been in cars that cost 4 times as much as this one that don't even do that. If you have 8 inches, use it, and this infotainment system definitely does that. Working our way down, I love the stitching. You have regular style AC controls, temperature, and blower fan. I like the silver touches. 2 stages of heated seats in this SR, and then working your way down, we have 12-volt USB-C, USB-A, and if you're ready for it, wireless charging. Wireless charging for 22 grand. This is gonna control your CVT transmission. You do have a start-stop button conveniently located where you could just hit it each and every time. Just a little bit of gloss black, but you're not gonna be touching it. 2 cup holders, good old-fashioned e-brake, so you could drift out the rear end of this Versa. Soft touch on the armrest, open it up, another USB-C, and this is a perfect place that if you have your protein shake while you're out driving on the road for work, you could keep your Yeti can with your protein shake right in there with the lid open. That's what I advise. That's what Stephen Flood does from Stephen Flood Photography. He loves a nice strawberry flavored protein shake, extra whey protein for him. And then the seats, they're cloth, but you do have some nice stitching, two-tone material with the red all the way down, manual controls for the passenger, manual controls for the driver, and no sunroof at all available on a Versa. But why don't you come over here to the business end? I got a flat bottom steering wheel I want to show you in this Versa. Business time behind the wheel. You got a nice aluminum sill plate with the Versa name that lights up LED. Manual seat controls are easy to figure out. And you know what? The seats are quite comfy for this price point. Steering wheel, flat bottom, leather all the way around with the stitching, flat black on all the switch gear. You do have manual adjustable tilting and telescoping steering wheel, a little area for some atomic fireballs. And then I love that at least you get some digital gauge display here. So you have on the left, you're able to scroll through a cornucopia. Look at that, average 32.5 miles to the gallon I've been getting. That is quite intensive. You got the Nissan 360 shield protection, lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring, all those goodies. And then you have an analog speedometer. I'm 6 feet tall, and it's actually pretty spacious in here. Once upon a time, I'm gonna tell you a little story. Once upon a time, in a galaxy very far away, actually far, far away, Toyota Corollas were about this size. Now Corollas have gotten bigger, and there's a reason for this Versa to exist. Mind-blowing. But why don't we get in the back seat and see if there's enough room back there for your passengers as you're getting down the road. Back seat time in the Versa. This is where the Nissan engineers were able to defy physics. I'm 6 feet tall, not touching the headliner. We did move the driver's seat up so that Stephen could show you that you actually have a USB-C in the back seat. The new Integra Type S doesn't have a USB-C in the back seat. I have a pocket over here where Stephen and I are actually gonna go stop at IHOP. I'm gonna bring Lori home some pancakes. That's where I'm gonna slide them. But back here is actually quite comfy for the price point. There is no center armrest. My advice is get yourself a pillow pet. I think they got them on Amazon for like $15, and that will be your armrest. Small price to pay when you're looking at an MSRP of 22 grand. But why don't we get into the trunk and see if there's anything we could squeeze in this Versa. All right guys, time to get in the trunk of this Versa, and this is another area where this car, even though it's small, it punches above its weight class. Look at that. You're getting 15 cubic feet of space. You can actually fold down the rear seats to get even more space. And if you're comparing this to a Corolla, it actually has 1 cubic feet more of space than a Toyota Corolla. You lift it up and you're getting a spare. So lots of cars getting rid of a spare. The Nissan Versa has you covered. But why don't we go ahead? It's about that time. Let's see how this Versa gets down the road. Let's get to it. All right, guys, we are inside this 2023 Nissan Versa. This one, like I said, the SR trim, and we're trying to keep it all within certain parameters when looking at what this vehicle offers. You have a nice 8-inch integrated touchscreen infotainment system with Sirius XM, well within reach. The seats, they're not those famous Nissan zero gravity seats developed by NASA, but these seats are comfy and they're supportive. And I really think that the cloth material is gonna be durable, especially the way that it's constructed. When it comes to the overall layout, it's very smartly done. And like I said, you know, it's not about the horsepower performance, it's about getting that over 30 miles to the gallon in the city. Now, of course, to help obtain that, it has a CVT, and I know that the CVT is really not the best of transmissions, but I think for this situation, it kind of makes sense why they did it. But yet, when you look at the exterior, the changes that they made for 2023, I'm liking the look. I think it's hard to make a small car look sporty and fun, and I think that they did a great job with the Versa. You got the trunklet spoiler, you got the LED headlights, you got those new 17-inch wheels, and that's going to help the overall experience of owning one of these cars. But instrumentation is very easy to read at a quick glance. You got all the safety features that you can imagine. So if you're buying this car for somebody else, maybe a son or a daughter, you know, you want to make sure that they're going to be safe. This vehicle does have a lot of safety features for the price point. But front wheel drive, of course, and with that inline 4-cylinder engine, we're going to go on throttle here. On throttle. So you do have simulated shifts, and I like that because it cuts down on the engine drone of constant RPM that sometimes manufacturers don't do the simulated shifts, and that's what you're left with, and it really does not create a good driving experience. But you do have simulated shifts. It's like in today's world, when the average new car costs $47,000, here is a viable option for somebody who's looking for some affordable transportation that has some amenities. I mean, wireless charging, plug-in points everywhere, front and rear. And like I said, I think the big win is the MPGs at the end of the day. The Nissan Versa brings a lot for the money. Especially, like I said, if this is going to be a first car for somebody, or if you know that you're going to be on the road a lot and you're looking for the most economical way to do things, this really checks off so many different boxes. You got your blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. I mean, they really have you protected in this Nissan Versa. I want to get out onto the highway and see how this Nissan Versa drives. It's interesting because a couple years ago, Lori and I went to a Nissan event down in Miami, and we were given a Versa as a media press fleet vehicle. And driving it the 5 hours to Miami, it actually did fairly well when it came to comfort. And we definitely weren't stopping at gas stations much because it got such great fuel economy. Now this part of the highway is all concrete slab, and then it transitions. The 4-cylinder is noisy. There's no way to get around that. But like I said, having the simulated shifts, you don't have to worry about that pesky auto start-stop feature, and visibility is supreme. The mirrors are good size, out the windshield is awesome, and out the rear glass is great too. Another thing to think about, if you're comparing this to, say, a subcompact crossover SUV, is that you have a lower center of gravity, so the vehicle's actually going to handle better. And this is another reason that if you have a new driver in your house, if you're going to give this as a gift, maybe for a college graduation, you're giving them a safer, better driving option than an SUV, than a crossover SUV that's a subcompact. But going down the road, I mean, you have probably more road noise than wind noise, which is really nice. And I think the biggest thing is being able to have good visibility, especially when it's raining out like it is right now. We're trying to change lanes. But nice setup on all the different touches, especially having heated seats. And like I said, if you're looking at that Toyota Corolla, obviously a little bit larger car, but you're gonna have to go base LE to try to get as close to $22,000, which is the price, like I said, of this fully loaded Versa SR. But if you're just driving the car as a normal A to B vehicle, it drives actually surprisingly very well. On throttle, here we go. It's just acceleration. You can kind of read a book. and then finally you'll be up to 60. So that's one of the things, the 0 to 60 is slow, but for a new driver, maybe they don't need that 500 horsepower from a Mustang Dark Horse. Maybe this is a good way to get their feet wet. That's a decision that you're gonna have to make. Thankfully, not me. But overall, like I said, for the money, we're comparing apples to apples. For the money, I think you're getting a lot of car for today's prices at $22,000 for a brand new car with a full warranty and everything else. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to where it all started. Hopefully it stops raining soon so we can wrap this one up. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one of those kinds of days where, you know what, it's gloomy outside, but the Ladies Ride show tries to bring the sunshine to you. We definitely want to thank everybody over at Nissan USA for allowing us access to this press fleet vehicle. Let me know what you think. When it comes to your hard-earned money and maybe not having a lot of it, is this Nissan Versa SR the best bang for your buck when it comes to a sedan? Let me know down in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Ride family. Of course, we need to give it up. Stephen Flood Photography. He makes the magic happen no matter what the obstacle is, even if he has to work the camera while he's on a pogo stick. So thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.